So today we are going to discuss about the health, welfare and hygiene of mine workers. Health, welfare and hygiene of mine workers. The people who are working in the mines, the mine workers, they should be taken care properly. Their health should be taken care, their welfare should be taken care, and the mine atmosphere should be hygienic. So the mine operator, the owner of the mine, should make such provisions as may be necessary to ensure appropriate healthcare facilities, welfare facilities, and hygiene of the mine workers. As per the Mines Act, the mine owner has to provide the facilities to take care of the health, welfare, and hygiene of the mine worker. So, what do you mean by health care? What do you mean by health care? So, the health of mine workers should be checked by a competent physician before being assigned to work in a mine for the first time. Suppose you have employed somebody to work in the mines, so you have to check his health condition by a physician. Then after that, periodic health examinations should also be arranged, especially for mine workers in places where the material handled or the process could be hazardous to the health. A mine worker who is ill or in any way incapable of normal activity should not be allowed to work. So this is the uh, facility you have to provide to the people who are working in the mines, healthcare facilities. Their health should be examined by the doctors before they work in the mines. Then we have discussed that in the mining premises, there should be changing facility. Where possible, the mine owner should provide adequate facilities at the mine site for the changing of the dresses, storage and washing of clothes, and for bathing by mine workers. Water supplied for washing and bathing should be of sufficient purity and must not come from a sump that is part of the works unless it has been suitably treated. Wastewater should pass straight to a drainage system. Then in the mining premises, you should have the sanitary facilities also, like your latrines, urinals should be also be there in the mining premises so that people can comfortably go there. The mine owner should ensure that surface mine works are equipped with latrines and urinals that are located and fitted out in such a way as not to spread odors. They should be installed so that they do not pollute the working environment, such as in inactive workings. Latrines and urinals should always be kept clean and disinfected. Other places than the latrines should not be used for such purposes. Then there should be drinking water facility in the mining premises also. The mine workers should never drink mine water. An adequate supply of potable drinking water should be provided at all main work sites during working hours. If it is safe to drink from wells on site, they should be located so that they will not be contaminated by wastewater from the mine outside the mining area higher than the mine drainage level. Drinking containers should be dust-proof and kept closed when not in use. Drinking water should not be contaminated in any way. Then there should be some canteen where people can take their food, areas for food. Food should not be stored or consumed in any area that is exposed to hazardous material, vapor, or dust. Food should be stored and consumed in clean, sheltered places. Rest stations may be established for that purpose. Also, in mining area, intoxicating beverages and narcotics should not be allowed. Intoxicating beverages and narcotics should not be permitted or used in or around the mining area. Persons appearing to be under the influence of alcohol or narcotics should not be allowed to work. And we have discussed there should be a first aid station. Workers and supervisors should be able to respond quickly to incidents and accidents and provide basic first aid and treatment to injured persons. Rapid first aid treatment can prevent further serious health damage or even loss of life to injured persons. The mining operator should ensure that suitable, regularly replenished, and properly maintained first aid kit is provided at a strategic location where mining operations are performed. The first aid kit should be easily accessible and ready for use at any time while any person is at work. Then have people trained in first aid. The people who are working in the mines, they should be trained. First aid training should be given to all the workers. And these are the minimum equipments to be kept in the first aid station to ensure adequate first aid treatment. So you have to keep the following materials, equipments in your first aid station. There should be a stretcher for transporting persons unable to walk. There should be a blanket for persons in shock. Sufficient bandages and sterile dressings for open wounds or limbs, body and head. Splints for fractures of the limbs, disinfectants, any other first aid material that may be required due to the nature of the work and recommended by the competent physician. Every effort should be made to ensure that at least one employee is trained in first aid applications. The mining authority should provide first aid training who should be on site while mining activity is carried out. Action to be taken after if some accident has taken place in your mining area, what should be done? The following actions should be taken immediately after the accident has taken place in the mines. At any mine where there has been an accident, the necessary measures should be immediately taken to remove injured mine workers to a safe place for first aid treatment. Eliminate further danger arising from the event. Any worker involved in rescue operations should take reasonable care for the safety and health of himself or herself and not endanger themselves by rash action where there are unknown risks are there. No person should be allowed to enter the mining area where there has been an accident except when it has been made safe and express permission is given by a competent person. Every injury to a mine worker, however small it may be, should be reported to the person in charge of the first aid station at the mine for checking up and treatment before the injured person returns to work or leaves the mine. Arrangements should be made for transporting the injured or sick persons to a hospital or other suitable medical facility, for example, through cooperation between mine sites in close proximity. And we have also seen the personal protective equipments should be used by the mine workers. The mine operator should provide free of cost the personal protective equipments that is to be worn when hazards cannot be eliminated. And the operator should ensure that it is worn properly and maintained in good condition. The basic personal protective equipment should be safety helmet, hard hat, where falling objects might create a hazard, protective gloves when handling materials or performing work which might cause injury to the hands. There should be some suitable protective footwear, gum boots, safety shoes, or rubber boots where there is a danger of slipping or of injury to the feet. Hat should be there, gloves should be there, boots should be there, and they should be worn always. This minimum standard protection should be worn at all times in and around the mine. Additional protective equipment should be used as and when required. Then here uh, then hearing protection, because if there is a heavy noise is there, hearing protection should be there where excessive noise levels are produced, where compressors are running, drill machines are running, pick hammers are used, then a lot of noise will be there, so you have to protect your ears by ear plugs. So dust mask also should be used where there is a lot of dust is there. Dust mask where excessive airborne dust is produced during drilling operations, during rock breaking operations. Safety glasses, goggles should be used where there is a danger from flying particles that may cause injury to the eyes, where hard rock is to be broken. Other personal protection devices may also be required, such as closely fitting clothes when working with or around moving machinery or equipment, safety belts and lines where there is a danger of falling. Uh, and while working in the mines, safety should be given first priority. Safety first, then production next is the slogan. Posting warning signs and barriers. A surface mine often consists of deep trenches or large holes. There is a risk that a mine worker or member of the public could fall in such depressed areas. Such working should be surrounded by a secure fence or otherwise securely barricaded. Suitable warning signs should be given to forbid unauthorized entry and subsequent fall of any person should be posted. This is the fence given around the waste material dump area so that people will not visit to that area. So this is the warning post given. Ground conditions or any other dangerous condition in the mine that creates a hazard to persons should be corrected before other work or travel is permitted in the affected area. Until corrective work is completed, a warning sign against entry should be posted. When left unattended, a barrier should be installed to prevent unauthorized entry. This is the place where the big boulders are there at the crest of the bench. It may fall at any time. So therefore, it should be isolated. This unstable ground should be isolated until it is fixed by giving a signpost here. And there should be travelways and safe means of access to the mines. Mine workers often have to use difficult terrain to travel to and from their workplaces within the mine. Climbing or walking along steep peat walls and excavations where there may be a danger of slipping or falling, a slide of material, a rock fall, etc. To reduce these hazards, the stability of any pit wall, bench or slope where persons normally travel to and from their assigned workplaces should be regularly examined and properly maintained. Each place in the mine where any person normally works should be provided with appropriate travel ways. For access via steep grades, use a secured ladder. The ladder is the uh, means by which you can travel or climb from the bottom of the pit to the top of the pit. We have seen that a lot of overburden material is to be stripped in open cast mines. Stripping of overburden surface mining activities generally start with the removal of the overburden. Typically, loose ground or decomposed rock is removed fast to reach the mineral deposit. This material is potentially unstable and could easily collapse or slide, especially when wet. Any excavation of loose ground should therefore not be done by undercutting or by forming steep slopes. The slope of loose ground or decomposed rock should be kept at an angle not more than 45 degrees that ensures stability. Vegetation such as large bushes and trees should be removed from the overburden before stripping reaches the roots to prevent hazards due to falling trees, to prevent loose soil from sliding back into the mine. Pit or wall perimeters consisting of soil or unconsolidated material which could create a fall of material hazard should be stripped back for at least 3 meters from the top of the pit or quarry wall. All material from the stripping of overburden should be removed to a safe distance from the working edge of the mine excavation and be shaped to a safe angle of repose 30 to 40 degrees from the horizontal for the maintenance of the dump waste dumps. And the overburden stripped back and removed to a safe distance from the working edge. And while working on the walls and benches, falls of rock at the working phase, the collapse of the working phase, and landslides are major risks in the production areas of surface mines. They are often the cause of serious mining accidents. The design and layout of the working phases should therefore be such that the danger of material fall is minimized. This can be done by applying a benching terraced system instead of having a steep. Any wall or slope or bench where work is to be performed should be regularly examined for cracks or other signs of stress or weakness, in particular prior to commencing any work. After blasting, after heavy rainfall, and as ground conditions warrant. Under no circumstances should any face, side or bench be worked in a way that causes unsupported overhanging or undercutting. So the left side is unsafe steep pit wall. On the right side, stable benching system is there. And you should be very aware of the undercutting. While doing undercutting, you should be very careful, otherwise the material will fall over you. Then where the undercutting of a working face is essential, sufficient means of support should be there, properly installed to prevent overhanging material from collapsing. In any alluvial layer consisting of sand, clay, pebbles, or similar loose material, a single bench for manual working should normally not exceed 2.5 meters in height. Also, the maximum slope should be less than 45 degrees. When working in solid material or hard rock, the height of a single bench should not exceed 6 meters for manual working. Also, the slope angle should be less than 60 degrees from the horizontal. Each terrace floor of a multi-bench system should be wide enough to allow persons to work and travel freely and safely. A bench width of at least 3 meters is recommended. This also provides some protection against rockfall. So, scaling, what do you mean by scaling? Wherever loose rock or soil at any working phase could create danger to persons, that is called a scaling. It should be scaled down or supported in a safe manner before other work or travel is permitted in the affected area. If possible, scaling should be done from the top of the working phase downwards. All persons should be removed from below the scaling area. Scaling should be carried out from a location which will not expose persons to injury from falling material. You should keep clear when scaling. If scaling is performed from below the face, the scaling bar should be of a length and design that will allow the removal of loose material without exposing the person performing this injury. If scaling is performed from below the face, the scaling bar should be of a length and design that will allow the removal of loose material without exposing the person performing his work to work to injury. When scaling below from below, use a long bar. Other work which are carried out in open pit mines when digging pits, trenches, or other such works, any face or side wall over 1.5 meters high should be securely supported by installing struts to prevent any falls or slips of the wall material back into the excavation. When using water monitors to dislodge rock or earth from a vertical wall, make sure the hose and nozzle are firmly fixed. Stand well back from the wall and well clear of the debris as it falls and washes away to the pump or sump. If any work has to be done manually on a face that is more than 2.5 meters above the ground, the worker should wear a safety harness, a rope that is fastened to a secure anchor well clear of the top of the face. This is when off the ground, be well supported. You should be supported by this rope. Any tunnel or adit being driven into the face for exploration, drainage, or any other purpose should be securely supported as ground conditions warrant. Where such underground adits exceed a length of 6 meters, arrangements should be made to ensure an adequate supply of fresh air, either by artificial or natural ventilation. Support the roof, check the air quality. Inadequate ventilation in underground workings may result in a lack of oxygen and high levels of carbon dioxide. Thus, the atmosphere therein should be regularly checked for oxygen and carbon dioxide concentrations. The level of oxygen should not fall below 19.5%. The level of carbon dioxide should not exceed 0.5%. Unventilated areas underground should be barricaded and signposts are given to prevent entry of unauthorized persons. In open cast mines, the lot of water comes out from the strata, so there should be proper drainage of the water, which is called your mine drainage system. Most small scale mines do not encounter strong groundwater inflow unless they are close to and below the level of a river, but they often have problems in dealing with surface water during and after heavy rainfall. Such surface water can adversely affect the stability of the pit strata, wash out slopes and terraces, and even flood the mine. Heavy mud flow and slope failure are often consequences of surface water entering your mine. Whenever possible, surface water should be prevented from entering to your mine workings by digging ditches to trap the water and conduct it away from the pit. Drainage channels should be well away from the edge of the excavation and constructed as to minimize storm runoff entering the pit. As far as possible, mine workings should be arranged so that water is discharged naturally into lower abundant workings. Channeling incoming water down the slopes to collection points could also be an effective way to protect the slopes of surface mines. Where necessary, water pumps should be installed at such collection points. Keep water out of the pit as far as possible by pumping out the water from the mines. And while using the mechanical equipments like your shovels, dumpers, drag lines, bucket wheel excavators, surface miners, you have to take care of the uh, machines which may create hazards, uh, accidents, etc. So mechanical equipment while using in the open cast mines, heavy earth moving machineries. These are the general requirements of use of heavy earth moving machineries in open cast mines. All mining machineries and apparatus that is used in surface mines should be very robust, fitted with appropriate protective safety devices, and maintained in good condition. Where the location of a mine site makes it difficult to get spare parts, it is even more important to keep the mining machinery in good working order by regular servicing and maintenance of the equipment. Servicing and maintenance should be carried out according to a scheme prepared by the mine operator or to the manufacturer's specifications. As a safety measure, any power tool or handheld use machines should be fail-safe, operated with controls that require constant hand or finger pressure. Only a competent person should undertake any work on any machinery where technical knowledge or experience is required. While using the pneumatic pick hammers, how to operate the pneumatic pick hammers? Any mechanical part affecting the safe operation of pneumatic pick hammers, such as hose connections, peak retainer, and the state of peak should be checked for any defect by the equipment operator before being put into operation. The same applies to pneumatic drill machines. Check the hoses and pipelines connections before starting the work. Otherwise, there will be a rupture. Extraction operations by pick hammer should be performed from a position which will not expose the operator to injury from falling of the materials. Use pick hammers from a safe position. It should not be done like this figure. It should be done on the right, like the right side figure, so that the material will not fall over the person who was working. Lubricating oil should be used before a pick hammer is started and at regular intervals as required during the operation. Material that is to be broken by pick hammers, secondary breakage should be positioned or blocked to prevent any movement which could endanger persons in the work area. Before pneumatic pick hammers are moved from one working place to another, the air compressor should be turned off and air blade from the hose. Pick hammers should not be used for breaking the material that could contain misfired explosives or detonators. Then, while doing the drilling operations, certain precautions are to be taken. Drilling equipment should be inspected and any defects corrected before it is being used. The drilling area should be inspected for hazards before starting the drilling operations. Drill crews and others should stay well clear of the rotating augers or drill stems. Persons should not pass under or step over a rotating drill stem or auger. Drills should be attended at all times while they are in operation. Persons should not hold the drill steel while collaring the holes, nor rest their hands on the chalk while drilling. Persons should not drill when their footing is not secure or when standing on staging or equipment that is not suitable for drilling. Before drills are moved from one place to another, the air compressor should be turned off and air blade from the hose. Holes should not be drilled where there is a danger of intersecting a misfired hole is there or a hole containing explosive material. While using the compressed machines, compressors and related equipments in the mines, compressed air vessels should have a safety certificate in accordance with the regulations. Normally, they should withstand at least 5 times the maximum design pressure. All pipelines, hose, constructions, and connections should be able to withstand the operating air pressure and flow. Suitable locking devices should be used at connections between the machines and high pressure hose lines, particularly where a connection failure could create a hazard to the operator or other persons. On any compressor or pressure storage vessel, safety equipment should be installed that is suitable for working constantly under the maximum permissible pressure. The equipment should include pressure gauge, temperature gauge, safety valve to release excess pressure. The temperature also inside a compressor should not exceed 40 degrees centigrade below the flash point of the lubricating oil used, not more than 160 degrees centigrade. Whenever the compressed air temperature exceeds the limit or some defect is found in the cooler, the compressor should be stopped. The compressor lubricating oil should have a flash point higher than 200 degrees centigrade. Animal or vegetable oil should not be used for lubrication. Compressor air intakes should be as clean and dry as possible. Air filters should be air enters the compressor. The compressed air flow from the compressor to the point of use should be kept as dry as cool as possible. Never direct compressed air towards a person, take all necessary precautions to protect the persons using the compressed air tools and equipment from injury. You are using a lot of explosives for the blasting purposes. So what are the precautions you have to take? What knowledge you should have about the use of explosives for the blasting purpose in the mines? There are, explosive material means explosives, blasting agents, and detonators. And explosives means any chemical compound, mixture, or device that is made, manufactured, or used to produce an explosion by sustained chemical reaction in itself, such as black powder, nitroglycerin, dynamite, etc. Detonator means any device containing a detonating charge that is used to initiate an explosive, such as non-electric blasting caps. Blasting agent means a chemical substance which becomes an explosive when mixed with a hydrocarbon, ammonium nitrate. Blasting area means the area in which concussion, flying material, or gases from an explosion may cause injury to the persons. There are certain general requirements while the blasting operations are carried out in the mines. Blasting operations should not take place without the approval of the mining authority. Only explosives and detonators approved by the mining authority and provided by the mine operator should be used at a mine. Only persons who are trained, certified, and experienced in the handling and use of explosive material should direct blasting operations and related activities. The operator of every mine at which explosives are used should provide the equipment and materials necessary to enable blasting operations to be carried out safely in the mines. And while storing the explosive material in the magazine, you have to take utmost care so that there is no accident taking place in the storage area. So explosive material should be stored in magazines, which as far as possible should meet the following requirements. It should be structurally sound. It should be made of non-combustible material or the exterior covered with fire-resistant material. It should be lined with non-sparking material. It should have ventilation holes at the upper and lower part of the building to control the dampness and excessive heating. It should have appropriate warning signs that indicate the contents. It should be kept clean and dry inside. It should be locked when unattended. It should be used exclusively for the storage of explosive material. It should be electrically grounded when made of metal. Areas surrounding the storage facilities for explosive material should be clear of rubbish, brush, dry grass, and trees for 10 meters in all directions. Other combustible material, gasoline, diesel, should not be stored or allowed to accumulate within 20 meters of explosive material. This is the magazine where the explosive is kept. Be careful in storing, the transporting, and using of the explosives. You should take utmost care while storing the explosives, while transporting the explosives, while using the explosives. Detonators should not be stored in the same magazine as other explosives unless they are kept in a separate compartment. When stored in the same magazine, blasting agents should be kept separate from explosives, safety fuses, and detonating cords to prevent contamination. A suitable person should be appointed by the mine operator to be in charge of explosives at the mine. This person should be over 21 years of age and competent in the storage, handling, and use of explosive material. Then, while the explosives are carried from one place to other place, you should be very careful. Explosive material should be transported without undue delay to the blasting site. Closed, non-conductive containers should be used to carry the explosives and detonators to and from the blasting site. Separate containers should be used for the explosives and detonators. Explosive containers should be clearly marked, indicating their content. Charging and short firing operations should be carried out under the supervision of a competent person. Explosives should not be taken to the blasting site until the blast holes are ready to be charged. Explosives and blasting agents should be kept separated from detonators until charging begins. Explosive materials should be protected from impact and from temperatures in excess of 65 degrees centigrade when taken to the blast site. No person should smoke in the blasting area. No person should have a naked light or any other appliance that could generate heat or sparks in the vicinity of the holes that are being charged with explosives. Charges should be made up only at the time of use and as close to the blast site as conditions allow. Once charging begins, the only activity permitted within the blasting site should be that which is directly related to the blasting operation. Before charging the holes, blast holes should be checked for obstructions, which should, as far as possible, be cleared. Explosives should not be forcibly pressed into a blast hole for any reason. Tamping, compressing the explosive in the hole to reduce air spaces should only be done with non-sparking equipment such as bamboo type of charging rods. After a blast hole has been charged, it should be stamped by using fine sand in small paper packets or clay noodles. Unused explosive material should be transported to a protected location as soon as practicable after charging is completed. Once charging is completed and circuits have been connected, the firing of shot holes should take place without undue delay. Before firing a shot hole, the responsible person should check the completed circuit to ensure that the components are properly connected. Give exam, give proper warning to allow all the persons to be evacuated from the blasting area. Guard or barricade all access routes to the blasting area to prevent the passage of persons to the blasting area. So, uh, you should give warnings. Stay well clear before the blasting is done. No work should resume in the blast area until it is free of after blast fumes and a post blast examination by the person in charge has verified that there are no potential blast related hazards. And if after blasting you found that there is a misfire, how to handle the misfire? When a misfire or a shot or any part of a round of shots fails to explode is suspected, person should not enter the blast area until at least 30 minutes after the time of firing. Faces and mock piles should be examined for any misfire. Only work necessary to remove misfires should be permitted in the affected area until the misfire is disposed of safely. Uh, then after the mining is over, you have to go for mine closure, cessation of mining, mine closure. No small scale surface mine or mine site should be abandoned without any rehabilitation. You should do the reclamation. After that only you can close the mine. Nor should it be left in a condition that could lead potential hazards to the public or damage to the environment. The mining authority should ensure that its requirements for abandonment are met. Every mine operator should ensure that the necessary steps are taken to meet the requirements of the mining authority to prevent any danger arising from abandoned mine sites, either by progressive rehabilitation during ongoing mining operations or after the completion of mining activities. Rehabilitation measures should include, but not be limited to, removal of any harmful or toxic substances, machinery, mine structure, and any other leftover material likely to be harmful to persons or nature. Refilling and releveling of deep excavations or holes that may create a danger of fall to the persons where there is not a possible. Such danger areas should be provided with secure fencing or otherwise barricaded. Contouring by trimming slopes to a safe angle, stabilizing by revegetation of potentially unstable faces, pit walls, benches, or waste dumps to reduce erosion or potential slope failure. So these are the things which I wanted to discuss you today. So we have seen that we have seen that the health and welfare and hygiene of mine workers is very important aspect in your mining area. So the purpose of this class was to uh, educate you about the uh, about the health of the people who are working in the mines and what are the welfare activities you have to carry out to keep the people in good health, and what are the hygienic conditions you have to provide to the mine workers in the mining site. So uh, you have to take care of the safety of the people working in the mines. So how to carry out safe operations in the mines while drilling the holes, while blasting the holes, while using the explosives. The explosive materials should be properly stored in a place which is called your magazine. And what are the precautions you should take while blasting the uh, holes, how to charge the holes, what precautions are to be taken, how to the hole, what type of explosive is to be used for the blasting purpose, what type of blasting material explosives are to be used is being uh, approved by the Director General Mine Safety, so that no accident takes place because of the blasting of the holes. And uh, so while storing the explosives in the magazine, what precautions you should take, how to transport the explosives, how to handle the explosives, every precaution you have to take so that no accident takes place in your mining area because of the use of the explosives. Okay, so uh, in the mining area, a lot of noise will be there, lot of dust will be generated, lot of other fumes will be generated after the blasting is done. So for that purpose, the people who are working in the mines, they should use the personal protective equipments. The personal protective equipments are like your helmets, gumboots, globes, your goggles and globes, etc., which are used by the mine workers to keep themselves free from any danger arising out of your mining activities. Okay, and while doing the drilling, dust masks should be used so that the dust is not getting inhaled to your lungs. So inhalation of dust will create your lungs problem, and while working in the mines you are working, there would be lot of noise, so the noise may also create problem for the people who are exposed to 90 dBA noise level more than 8 hours. Their eardrums will be damaged, their hearing will be damaged. So to protect them, so you have to use the earplugs and you have to control the noise. The noise control is done by proper maintenance of the heavy earth moving machineries. So the heavy earth moving machineries should be properly maintained so that they will not create any problem, hazards in the mining area. So these are the things I wanted to discuss with you today. Thank you for your patient hearing. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you,
Sir,
sir.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, please upload this. This, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. I'll upload.